What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Pulse and the host of HBCU Pulse Radio in the building, continuing our coverage of College Hill Celebrity Edition. I've been working, trying to get exclusives, all these different things, but this is the interview, all right? This is the SGA president and vice president of the Texas Southern University. So we're in the political realm today. I got Dexter, Maryland, and Alexis Ferguson. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Man, I'm amazing, but I'm tired because College Hill got me working. But I'm glad because the summer typically, is a little bit dull. You have NASAP, NASAP that happens. We'll cover NASAP. Then June is sort of vacant. Then July, you have Kings and Queens. Then August comes. So it's great to have College Hill where we have content that we're delivering. We're talking to amazing people. So it's a great thing. So I want you guys to introduce yourself, starting with you, Dexter. I want you to tell everyone who you are.
Okay, well, hello, everyone. My name is Dexter, Maryland. I serve as the 75th SGA president. It always gets me every time because it doesn't feel real sometimes. But we are the Pulse administration. I am a senior majoring in political science with a minor in broadcast journalism. And that's just a little bit about me. I'm from Houston, Texas, born and raised. I've known about TSU all my life. TSU wasn't my first choice, but it chose me. So I'm just happy to be here speaking about some of the great things we have going on our campus.
Hi, I'm Alexis Ferguson. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I am a sports management scholar. I'm a junior. I'm the vice president of SGA. And like Dexter said, TSU definitely wasn't my first choice, but it definitely chose me, and I'm happy to be here.
And I don't know if the audience heard the name of the administration, the Pulse administration. So we amongst family here. You got HBCU Pulse and the Pulse administration. We love to see it because we at the heart of the issues and the heart of the culture. So we love to see that. All right. But I want to, before we get into College Hill, because, that's why we're here. Like, I don't want to just hop to, hey, how you feel about College Hill? Because I think that's disingenuous because you all are students before that. You all had positions before that. So I want to get, just your ground within leadership and also your experience at Texas Southern University. So we'll start with you, Dexter. So, what's your experience been like at Texas Southern University, and not just, in leadership, but just in general?
Honestly, TSU has been life-changing. I came to TSU in 2019, immersed into a moment where TSU was at a pivotal time. So we had the Democratic national debate on our campus. We had a lot going on. So starting there and to progress to a moment like this where we have now College Hill on our campus, it just shows the amount of great experiences that TSU offers. The faculty and staff, which you see on the show, stuff like that. The students, even though we are in Houston, sometimes it can be hard to have that feel of an HBCU that maybe like a Tuskegee University may have, or those schools that are in those rural areas, right? But TSU really has cultivated not only the leadership in me, but the passion to be great. Like, I'm in DC right now on an internship. And I know that I probably could have done this anywhere else, but in this capacity to show up the way that I'm showing up, I know that without TSU, I wouldn't be able to do this. So I owe a lot to TSU. And that's one of the reasons why I'm glad that we're on here, because we're able to really just not only talk about College Hill, like you said, but really allow people to understand what does Texas Southern University have to offer. Because I know we keep saying TSU and Tennessee State, those two things, we got the little thing going on. But to understand the richness of Texas Southern University, and that we were birthed throughout the civil rights movement. Like, there's not a lot of HBCUs that were. So we have a different story and a different passion behind service for our university. So that's really what the experiences has been so far. And I really hate to go in the spring, but I know that I have to go on and do other things. But TSU has been great to me so far.
And I think one thing you said that's so key is about the brilliance of Texas Southern University. Like y'all are the number 2 largest HBCU in the nation behind North Carolina A&T. Y'all had the Democratic debate in 2019. Y'all, I'm a wrestling fan. One of my favorite wrestlers, Bianca Belair, and the Ocean of Soul was at WrestleMania, and I wasn't expecting it. Bianca Belair, my girl, man. I'm like, wait a minute, is that a band? I'm like, and my brother was like, wait a minute, that's Texas Southern's band. I'm like, wait, what? Because I was on my phone, I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Texas Southern. I'm like, I'm gonna put this on HBCU Post. Then it got taken down because WWE don't play. It got taken down for copyright. But I was going to show love. But I think that's such a great point about just the brilliance of Texas Southern University and the amazing thing you have going on. So I want to hear the same thing from you, Alexis. So what has your experience at Texas Southern University been like?
Like definitely a blessing to me. I can't say I came in at COVID, so I was the COVID freshman ready for HBCU life. But I definitely say that just because I came in my COVID year, I definitely didn't take away from anything that the HBCU has to offer. Not only just the HBCU culture, but like definitely Houston's culture and how it's just so like predominantly Black here and how it's like really like Black power all around you. It's definitely like encouraging to keep going, but also to learn more and expand more and network. But definitely, like Dexter said, the history behind Texas Southern makes you appreciate HBCUs a little bit more. Definitely after George Floyd and the whole racial climate that we're in right now, coming to an HBCU after a predominantly white high school, like changed my fight and my want to be around African American people. Because we just like, I feel like we're like the best. That's controversial, probably. But like we're the best. We're definitely the best type of people to be around, you know. Like the dorm, you have the people that do hair, you have the people that do nails, you have everything that you need. It's definitely a Black market, but not only that, just networking you're able to do. Not only the SGA president, but I am the Thurgood Marshall Yardie for our school. And I always tell people like building relationships, not only at your institution, but across the HBCU family, like will get you places. One of my friends, Elijah, he's attends Norfolk. He put me on to the Thurgood Marshall Yardie position, and then I was able to like cultivate and go from there with meeting different people. So definitely HBCU culture, HBCU pride, but like definitely TSU pride as well. Like that's what you get whenever you come to Texas Southern.
I love it. I love it. That's the HBCU love and the HBCU energy. So I want to ask you all about, your platform for, your tenure as SGA president and vice president. Elections are very near and dear to me because I worked with elections for 2 years. I had a lot of amazing winners. I never had anybody at Texas Southern because no one applied, but it's all good because that part of my history is behind me. Okay, we're moving forward in the media. But I love elections, and I think that student leadership is so key because it allows you to get opportunities such as, interfacing with celebrities and being on TV shows and situations such as College Hill. So, Dex, I want to start with you. So I want you to explain the platform for your administration.
So a lot of times, I've been in student leadership since I was a freshman. I started off as freshman class senator, worked my way up. Was in the mud, getting it through the mud. You know how it goes as a student leader. You do the grunt work. So I did that, and in each administration I saw acronyms. I was like, okay, this is cool. I understand. But a lot of times you would see the acronyms not come to life. Like you may miss out on a word. So one of the words may not, happen. You say whatever, you hit 3 and not all 5. So for me, I wanted to change that nature of having those words within a word and just one word that means a lot. The pulse. So like you said, we're at the heart of the issue. You can take that and run with it because it is what it is, right? We're also the heartbeat of our student body. We're also the core of the institution and the students. So the pulse is really about being all in one for our students. We really want to make sure that we're committed to the total student. And a lot of people are like, when you say total student, what do you mean by that? That means all types of students. Students that do not believe in the same things I believe in. Students who are not from Houston. Students who, are not a first generation and they may have money. Students who come in with experience. We're committed to serving the total student at our university and also developing leaders and developing the students to reach their highest potential. So throughout our platform, you see things like we're doing a 1,000 internship campaign in 1 year. That's a way for us to really cultivate in the minds of students to understand that their degrees are attached to success post-graduation. We're also doing TED Talk on our campus. It's happening. I'm letting it out the bag, so we're doing that. There's a lot of things that we're doing to really peel back the mindsets of students, because we know that in this day and age, college is not like a main front thing. You have a lot of ways to make income. We understand that. But we want to, when students get here, like she said, it is a black market, but we want to say, look, you have this idea, and we want to make sure that you're here to cultivate those things. So that's what our administration is about, really. We're serving the students. We've had many different issues, and that's one of the things I'll say about myself and Alexis. We started a What's the 411 platform where we talk about so many different things. I don't know if anyone has ever seen it, but we tackled housing. Like, students were having issues. Instead of us running up to housing and like, look, y'all ain't doing right, we ain't got no housing, we said, well, you know what? We want to do What's the 411 anyway, the inside scoop. Let's go ahead and start it. We don't have everything done, but let's start it. And so what we were able to do there, we were able to encourage students to say, look, apply for housing. There are different options. We do understand. We've been able to help many different students. And I know that for me, I did get a lot of backlash. On my list, there's 10 things. And there were some people like, you're not gonna get them done. You might get one thing done, you know. And we've already accomplished about 5 things that we're rolling out August. So we have been able to really be the pulse, and that's the heartbeat of the student body. So I know I gave you a lot, but I tried to give you like an elevator pitch of really what we're about. And it's really serving the students, man. We know that everybody doesn't want to be a student leader, but there is a student in everyone. So we want to make sure that we're cultivating that and being that representation for our students at TSU.
Man, listen, first and foremost, I want to say thank you so much for freeing us from acronyms. Oh my gosh. I'm so tired of acronyms in the HBCU community. We love us some acronyms. We got to get rid of abolish acronyms.
Yeah, we have a slogan, and it's the post-administration, the heartbeat of our student body. And I think that literally it melts everything in one. Instead of having the things that you got to remember, like, I don't want to get up. And that was another thing as president. I have bad memory. Like, I don't want to get up and mess up one of the words. Like, I don't. But I can literally get up and say the post-administration. And if I say we are the heartbeat of our student body, or if I say we are the core of our institution, all of that means the same. It interchanges. So it gave me a way out too. So it wasn't just I wanted to get rid of the acronyms. I don't have the memory. And I wasn't trying to forget one of those words. So
no, I totally get it. I totally get it. But for all the people like that, you had a 10-point platform essentially. They saying you not gonna do it. We not worried about the haters. Listen, because they gonna benefit regardless. He ain't gonna do it. All of a sudden you do it. You got TED Talk on campus. They like, man, he did it. All right, man. They're just soaking up knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like they like, hey Dexter, over there. You hating the club, but we gonna let you in because we love you. All right. But I want to talk to you, Alexis. So the vice president position is something that, because of Vice President Kamala Harris, a lot of people are paying attention to. Because I think that a lot of people now, we see it even through criticism in the real world in politics, a lot of folks are wondering, like, what does the vice president do? Like what is on her agenda? So I want to, bring that to you for Texas Southern University, because the vice president is incredibly important for a lot of legislative issues in SGA at Texas Southern. So I want you to expound upon, what you want to do as vice president at Texas Southern this year.
So I definitely agree with you. Legislation is like key to everything. I always tell everybody, really, my group of students in our Senate, we really run the school. Like, everything has to come through the Senate. So like Dexter said, I've been a part of student government since my freshman year. I actually started on the Senate. And as vice president, I want to take everything that I learned, make it better, but not only that, but add to our Senate. So I really want to push more resolutions than we're spending money at our school, like just making sure that whenever we leave our school, it's in the right shape and form, but not only that, we left our mark at Texas Southern. And I believe that's very essential to your college years. Not only that, I really want to appreciate our senators. Like, as a senator, my freshman year, not only was I scared, I didn't know much, I just wanted to be involved, but our senators don't get that Oh yeah, they're in SGA. They do the work. They're actually running the ground, doing everything behind the scenes, and we don't get to give them that sort of appreciation. So I feel as vice president, that is important to make sure that my senators get everything that they need. Not only that, but they're appreciated. Right now, I think I'm very in like a vital role because Dexter is in DC, which I'm very excited for him. And I always tell him that I'm so proud of him, but making sure that we don't stop working just because our president's elsewhere. I feel as if we do stop working, we'll never get anything done. Like you said, we have a 10-point platform and plan to make sure that we do everything that we need for our student body, but not only that, making sure that we're visible so they know that we're here. Dexter might be away, but there is the vice president here. We have our cabinet members that are here, our senators, our House of Representatives. Everybody's here for you to hear what you have to say. Because like Dexter said, essentially everybody's not a student leader, and that's fine. We're not looking for everybody to be one, but we are all students and we all have to come together. Because in the end, I always say this, we're the consumers of the university.
Let's get into College Hill. So I want to start with this question. And it's so interesting because I've had the opportunity to talk to different students on campus that are in athletics. We talked to Brianna Jackson, who was featured in the first episode of the show. And I've also talked to other Texas Southern students. And one thing I asked them is, how did you find out about College Hill? But I also asked the original cast members from season 1 and season 2, and their reaction, how they found out about College Hill at that point in time was interesting. So I want to ask you all how you all found out about College Hill and if you all knew about it, starting with you, Dexter.
I did know about it. I had never watched it, right? Back in the day when it was coming out, when was the last time we're Gen Z and Gen X, so we young. So don't bash us for this question I'm about to ask you. What was the year of the last season? Was it like 2006, 2007?
So that's an interesting question because the last campus, like the last time they were on a campus was University of Virgin Islands. So that was 2007. Then the infamous fight happened. And then after that, as we know with our HBCUs, we're big on our image. So after that fight happened, the HBCUs were like, nah, this ain't coming on our campus. It ain't happening. So from there, they then switched to interns. And the last season was in 2009 for interns. So the College Hill franchise ended in its original run in 2009, and it just was rebooted this year. So yes, 2009.
Okay, so I remember my uncle having a DVD of College Hill. So that I was young. I didn't watch it because I was like, I don't know what this is. This looks boring to me. I'm a little kid. I want to watch, Teen Titans Go and stuff like that. I wasn't trying to watch College Hill. But I knew about it, right? And then fast forward to now, when they brought it up, I'm like, oh, okay, College Hill. So what students we going to have on here? We got to make sure that it's a good representation. Then they said celebrity edition. I was like, oh, okay, well, this should be interesting. So I didn't know exactly what it would be like. I actually thought it was going to be very dramatic. A lot of fights, a lot of those things. But as we see, it didn't turn out that way. But I didn't know what it was going to be. And I didn't see College Hill until I binge watched the Atlanta season before I watched this one so I could compare the two. But yeah, so I didn't really know. All I saw was a DVD.
I can't even lie and say that I binge watched it or I knew anything about it. I didn't. They told us, I think they told us prior to telling everybody because it was definitely top secret. I hope I can say this now that it's over, but it was definitely a secret inside of the university that they were coming. So I think they introduced it to us at some meeting we were at. I don't even think I was supposed to be in the meeting, but I was there. And when they told us, I was like, okay, College Hill. So I went home and asked my mom. She was like, oh, it's just something that they did on BET about HBCUs and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay. Then they added the celebrity thing, and I was like, okay, so we're going to be around celebrities all day. So I was thinking essentially the people that were in the meeting were going to be the people on the show. Nobody else was going to get to see them because it was top secret. So I kind of was like, okay, I guess I'm not even supposed to be in the meeting, so this has nothing to do with me. And then after they came on the first day of hump day, I was like, oh, this is major. It's something big because we see Dream Doll, we see India Love, we see Ray J. These are people that essentially you see on Instagram every day and they're directly in front of you. So
what was it like filming on campus? Because I've heard a lot of conflicting stories about how filming happened, because one story that I heard, and this was in my interview with Texas Southern cheerleader Corey Carter. Corey said that filming went on at the rivalry game, Prairie View versus Texas Southern. It went on during Hump Wednesday, Hump nights. So I want to get it, from you all, because you all are members of SGA. You all actually had like parts within filming with Slim Thug, and we're going to talk about it. But what was filming like on campus?
Filming was a hassle. It was fun while we did it, but like for me, and I'll publicly say this, I was doing a lot of behind the scenes work. Like we had to figure out who all could make it to these meetings, right? Because sometimes we would have to have a meeting that wasn't on the scheduled day that we had a meeting, right? So who all can make it, who has class, who's gonna get COVID tested, we had to sign these forms. So it was a lot going on. And as a student, myself and the former president, D'Angelo Coulter, we had to do a lot of figuring out what students would best fit, right? Because you have some students that get on TV and they act crazy. So we try to make sure that we have a good representation and don't act a fool out here. What students best fit, and then also how can we really showcase our university in a way that it doesn't seem fake? Like we don't want to put this on. Like I'm like, look, if he gonna join, we ain't about to do something that seems fake. Like we have to make sure that he comes in here. He has to sit on the Senate. When we have a meeting, he has to come. When he has to put out some legislation, like if y'all want this guy, this dude, let me not just say this guy, this dude, Slim Thug. And actually Big Slim, because he changed this. He didn't want us to call him Slim Thug anymore, so that was a whole nother thing. Big Slim, if y'all want Big Slim on our Senate, he has to do the work. So it was a lot of behind the scenes work that we had to do. Like we even came in during spring break for one of the scenes. And there was a hassle because it's like, who's in town? Who's in town that can actually come in here and do a scene with Big Slim to put some legislation together? Who has the time? And that wasn't a priority for a lot of students. I'm like, I'm not forcing you, but who can make it? So it was a lot of moving pieces. I know for me, and Alexis didn't see a lot of that. She came in on the back end a lot, but it was a lot of moving pieces for myself and D'Angelo to really make sure that not only we got the students there, but they didn't make it. They didn't turn SGA to something else. Because there was sometimes they were like, why are y'all so serious? I'm like, this is student government. Like we are literally student government. We're not like, if y'all want to have fun, I'm like, we have a program counselor that does that. In student government, he's gonna come in here and get some work done. And so they had to be trained that, okay, this is crazy that this actually happens on college campuses. Like they take this so serious. So it was a hassle getting all that stuff done. But at the end, it was good because they allowed us to have free reign. Like they didn't change what we want. I'm like, look, this is what we need to do. This is how it works. And he gonna come in here and be serious. And they were like, cool, we're with y'all. This is y'all show. So it was a hassle, but at the end, they gave us free reign to make sure that we didn't showcase us in a negative light or make us look like a joke to me.
That brings about so many questions, because if that is shown, and we don't know what's going to happen in episode 6, 7, or 8, but in episode 3, after they finally got over the Stacey Dash situation, oh my gosh, they took so long on that one. Like they finally got over the Stacey Dash situation. They then started to spotlight the different organizations that the students, that the cast members were joining as students at Texas Southern. Dream Doll was a cheerleader. Ray J and Nene joined the debate team. I for sure thought Ray J would join SGA. That's a whole nother conversation. And then Slim joined SGA. And it was a little montage, although you had Stacey that had the whole entire, storyline with the dance team. So my whole entire thing, and some criticism, and I'm not criticizing because I hate the show. I actually really enjoyed the show. But, a lot of the root of my criticism, and I shared it on Pulse, and it was sort of controversial, was that I didn't see Slim in SGA, because I believe that someone, you're a mass comm major as a minor. So it's like, I'm a mass comm graduate. So for me, when I look at television, I don't look at television the same way as someone else. So right. I believe, because I was in SGA at my HBCU, Fort Valley State University, I know how those Senate meetings could be. I remember we had a tense Senate meeting, and one of our members, who will not be named, came in yelling and gave a whole entire show about how upset they were about this discussion on the Senate floor. And I'm sitting back, I'm a sophomore, and I'm like, what? man, this is interesting. This is College Hill. Like, I'm like, what is going on? So I know how interesting it can be. So I think that, this goes to inclusion of people that are a part of the HBCU experience, to be a part of these programs, but also like they're here. So my question is, like, were they filming these meetings? Were they filming Slim Thug interacting with you all? Because, we haven't seen it yet, and I don't know if we will see it since we're progressing so far into the semester on the season. But did they show that of Slim Thug interacting with you all?
He actually came to like 2-3 meetings. He was like very like interactive with us. So I'm not sure what they have planned. I don't know their like plan or their strategy right now. But hopefully coming, you guys get to see that. And I think I just want to put this out here because one thing I was definitely like thinking about is having somebody that's been to a HBCU help pre-plan what's going to go on in the show for future references, like making sure that somebody that understands everything that happens at the HBCU is in the room whenever we're coming to make these plans. Because I'm not going to say like who was recording, but you can definitely tell most of them didn't understand the HBCU, like the culture of it. Just speaking to my friends from high school that don't go to HBCUs, their student government association, their program coordinating, all of that, it's not as like intense as it is in an HBCU. So they're like, you have a Mrs. and Mr. Like, what is that? So somebody that definitely understands the culture of a HBCU and putting on this production would definitely be like essential in making sure that it's effective to the people that are viewing it. Because essentially, like, if you think about it, we're definitely like promoting HBCUs in a way. And I don't want everybody to be like, oh, this is all they do at HBCUs. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. And also I understand what you were saying at the point with the camera crew. And I'll put it out there because I think it should be put out there. When you have camera crews, a lot of times, especially when you talk about corporate, a lot of black folks are not on the cameras, because a lot of times what we want to do, and I've fallen victim to it, like, because I went to school I wanted to be in radio. And, I've not had the opportunity to be in radio on that front yet, but, I got in sales. And one thing is that in sales and in these other, things that are behind the camera, often outside of being a director or a producer, we're not trying to get in that because we want to be on the camera. We want the clout. We want the face. So oftentimes you have other races, such as white people, like they film these shows. Like,
we paid a lot of money too.
They pay a lot, and they pay a lot of money to these camera crews, and they make money. So they don't know, the camera crew doesn't know what to look for and how to shape the narrative. And then at certain points with media companies, especially those that aren't black owned, and like I said, we're not trying to disrespect anybody, but there's not a sensitivity to the HBCU experience, because I brought up before in different interviews, and when the quad was out, I was a huge proponent of the quad. And one thing about the quad was that there was a meeting where Dr. Fletcher met with SGA about a merger. That's realistic, right? But where's the SGA president? Where's the vice president? Why are all these students speaking without the SGA president being the one saying XYZ? Or why didn't Dr. Fletcher meet with specifically the e-board? Like, that's something that if it was someone that was in SGA or someone that had that experience, even if it was research that was done, that would happen. If it's a football game on the quad, like the cheerleaders might be there, but where is the SGA? Where's the king and queen? Where's the band playing as they're doing the thing? Like, these elements are missed out. So Alexis, you hit on a very amazing point that cultural knowledge is important when you're doing media like this.
I can say, like, I think one of the things that you hit on as well was people don't want to be behind the camera. But if we look at it, it's definitely because of where we come from. You see everybody that goes to school to be a doctor, they're like, oh, yes, you're going to school to be a doctor. You're going to make so much money. But just with working with my Summer of Success students, like Dexter said, it's a bridge program between high school and college. A lot of them say they're so passionate about something, but their family members say, oh, you're not going to be successful, or you're not going to make money in that. And I think, as I was telling them a few days ago, it's not always about money, because at the end of the day, you're not going to die with your money. It's going to go to somebody else. So I think as an African-American community, especially with this new generation they're so tech savvy and so smart, let's build them up to make them feel comfortable in what they want to do and what they're passionate about.
What I was going to say, and shout out to, I won't say her name, but if she watches this, she knows who she is. She was working with us. Young black lady, AKA from an HBCU, really working and making sure that our voices were heard during filming. And that was one of the things that was important to myself and D'Angelo. Now, D'Angelo was a little bit more quiet spoken, soft spoken, and I was the one like, look, what y'all want? What we gonna do? I was the attorney general, so I've kind of calmed down now because I have to be nicer. But in that time, I'm like, look, y'all want to be here? This is what we got to do. Like, this is what SGA is about. And although, and as I watch, I do have some hard feelings because I don't see a lot of the stuff that they did film. And it's upsetting sometimes. However, I know that we're making strides with someone like that young lady being in the room, being able to say, look, let's film this. So now the next step is we need somebody that's there saying, look, let's put this into production. Like, this needs to be. So I think we're making the strides, and there's good points that we're talking about. I think we're making the strides, but we just need more people to understand the severity of being behind the scenes and producing the work that we see. We don't always have to be on the TV, but we can be in the credits.
Yeah, and we can control our narrative. And that's one thing that I think within media that's not preached enough is controlling the narrative and controlling our image. Because if we don't like the image that's being seen, is ways we can produce our own content, but also work in concert with these companies if they allow us to, to make sure that our image is seen appropriately. So you said something interesting, Dexter. You said that, some of the scenes that were filmed weren't in the show. So so my whole entire thing is that I've received sourcing, and also within the interviews with Brianna as well as Croy, like, they told me that there were portions of the college life at Texas Southern that were recorded. So based on, and this is really an opinion-based question, but based on, your interfacing with BET and the College Hill film crew, and also, you being, around campus and seeing filming happening, there were moments where they could have had the opportunity to showcase the Texas Southern experience more than they have, right? Like the traditions, pep rallies, like there were opportunities, right?
There were, and I won't give anything away because there will be something on the show where you will see a lot.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, go ahead.
We'll see. And I'm so sad I could not be there. I was on the.
Me too.
So
y'all couldn't be. I want to say to the audience, I know what they're talking about, and we're not going to divulge it. But I know based on sourcing, I feel so important. I got sourcing. I know what they're talking about. But that's crazy. I couldn't be there.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah, I was at a conference, but you're going to be able to not only see, and hopefully they show a lot, right? Not only see the culture, but the Black joy. Mm-hmm. And that's what I saw. Like, even not even being at TSU, like, you saw the students, you saw the hypeness, you saw the culture of Houston and TSU. But some of the things that I would have liked to be shown better is, like, even with the opening,
yes,
mixer, right? There were a lot of students mic and talking, right? And having dialogue and really conversating with these celebrities, and that wasn't shown. And then you also had like when Slim joined SGA, there was a whole scene with him meeting us, right? Meeting in the president's office, sitting down, talking with us. We explained to him what SGA is. We explained to him what the Senate was, and that wasn't shown. So now I understand there's a lot of things that come to the chopping block, right? And I totally understand. I see that they really want to show more of class, and when they get home, how they react to what happened in class. But as a HBCU student, and just like it goes right back to what Alexis says, the entire experience cannot be given if you don't add those major pieces that y'all are even highlighting in some ways. The debate team, the choir, the cheer, dance team, the band, all these things. And I love the intro. I love that they put the band in there. That is a live intro. But I think that at the chopping block, there could have been some things taken out to add some other stuff. I'll just say that.
Yeah,
like, there was some things that I was like, okay, you could have You could have, taken out Ray J looking at Lamar Odom for 3 seconds because he wasn't gonna go get his glasses.
Yeah, you could have taken out Slim Thug. I'm gonna say this, Big Slim. You could have taken out Big Slim trying to holler at Dream Doll, and Dream Doll in episode 5 said he's just a bro. He's not gonna. He's just a bro.
You have, and one of the things we kind of talked about a little bit before this, you have to look at and that's why I went back to watch it. Right, to watch the former season, you have to look at the context of what College Hill was to them when they produced it. They wanted to showcase relationships and dynamics and the drama that Black people have when you put them all in a house. So any little piece that you get from that, and I see that in the show, they want to heighten it because they're not getting a lot of that. They are getting those students going in and Big Frida saying, "I want to learn." You are getting those students getting in there and Dream Doll saying, I do love biology. So you're getting that different side of Blackness that the media normally doesn't get. So when they do get a little piece of Slim saying, "I want to holler at her," they going to heighten it and get every time he says it because they want to make sure they get that drama in there at some point. But it's just, that's the way the media is. So I don't fault them, but I'm like, okay.
I'm not glad. I fault it because it's just like, it is creating something that isn't there when you spend 2.5 episodes, even in episode 3. I understand we need to know what happened to Stacey. I understand the storytelling, but you spent 2 episodes in full. And here was the different part, because I do the recaps on HP Post YouTube and also our podcast. I recapped episode 2 and people can go listen to it, where I talked about how there were back-to-back scenes about Stacey, and Stacey was only featured as a silhouette in episode 2. She was in her room. That was the last time we saw her, and then we saw her in a flashback when she was working with Nene, Lamar, and Frida on the project. You could have taken out some of the Stacey Dash stuff. You could have taken out. I would have loved they took out some of the Slim stuff, because I'm not even gonna lie, my brother Slim is a legend. That's weird. That was real weird. Leave that girl alone. Leave that woman alone. That's weird. But you take that out, and now you can put more of that experience in, because that's what I was saying, because we are in college because we want to get our degree, we want to be successful, we want to improve our families, improve our lives. That is why we came to college. So class is very important. Essentially, that's the biggest thing that we're paying for. But at the same time, the argument that I was making, and you all basically agree within just our conversation, is that the experience is more than just the classroom. They could have shown y'all interacting with Slim. And like I said, this is just criticism. So hopefully when they do the next celebrity edition, maybe at FAMU, or maybe they want to come to Fort Valley, or maybe not. I don't know. But I need y'all to show the SGA. I need y'all to show the Royal Court. Maybe it's a celebrity that want to walk with the Royal Court. Show that,
Right.
And show, for me, even with him being sworn in, they could have got a piece of that, because he was.
He got sworn in?
Yes, he was sworn in. So it's literally, and for me, those little things, and this is why I'm excited for the foundation, and hopefully they go back and look and say, well, look, we know that we're getting good reviews, but they enjoyed the students. They really enjoyed us. And so since we had that experience, if we do take it to a family, right? Now we have the range, because the HBCU seeing that we're not showcasing BS. Yeah. They know that we're not coming there for the celebrities to fight and have all these charges and do this crazy stuff. So maybe they'll be receptive to us coming to their campus, right? So we got that done. Now we can move on to how can we really showcase the experience. And it was a short amount of time for them to do it, but they had enough footage. You see it throughout the show when they showcase little things, they were in a bookstore. You just see a clip of the bookstore, right? So you see that they were getting that B-roll and getting that footage, but it's just not one of the things at the top of the list for them. It's more so let's get through the main hit points and get out of here.
Yeah, I almost walked away. I almost walked off this set, because I'm y'all swore in Slim, and that wasn't. Jesus, help me, Lord. I'm like, my God.
But for me to really add, even with all of that being said, and I know Alexis can talk on it too, for us to, I'm grateful for them to come and not only allow us to say, let's do this stuff, but they did show some. So I'm not upset, right? I'm not upset because I understand that this wasn't for these students. Now, we were needed to be a part of it, right? Now, if they would have came, I would have been mad. If they would have came and said, we coming to get TSU students from TSU and do College Hill, and it was this, I would be livid, because there's no way that you can take students that y'all would have probably picked student leaders, right? There's no way you can pick these student leaders from TSU and take that away. So I understand bringing in these celebrities that really had nothing to do with this stuff, and he only came with us for about 3 times, 4 times. So I understand, but hopefully, I know there will be more episodes. Hopefully they do showcase, because we had a good meeting with him. And even the production said this was one of the most genuine filming sessions that they had, and it was with student government. So hopefully, and as the plot is going, they haven't really got to that point yet, because I'm calculating things, but they haven't really got to that point yet. But I hope they show it, even if it's a piece, because you not only see the students, but now you see the celebrity really interacting with the students in a good way, really interacting, because you don't even see that in the classroom. Like, you just see pieces of it, but you really see him in that whole little scene interacting with us a lot. And I know Alexis can talk about, because she was in there too.
I think Slim was probably one of like the most like you said, it was a genuine piece, because I feel as if he wanted to be around us a little bit more to get a better understanding on how this goes, because he said that he was supposed to go to Texas Southern before he blew up. So I feel like this was just like another opportunity for him to understand what would have happened if I went a different route. So definitely that being cut off was like something I was like, I hope they put in, because it was like very like, you could feel like the genuine energy between us.
And I wish I could tell y'all what he did,
right.
But I can't even like, because I don't know if they're gonna do it, right? So I can't even say, like, even if they do it, it was a big thing, and it was a major issue that's going on in our country today. That's what I'll give you. A major issue that everybody faces. We hit on that with him, and hopefully a showcase, because it's something that really needs to be talked about, especially on campuses, on college campuses.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely cutting that part out kind of was, or if they do cut it out, it's gonna break my heart. But more than that was the entrance. Like, y'all saw Mariah and Ma, our Mr. and Mrs. at the beginning. There was like a parade full of people that were just excited, eager to be out of class, eager to be on
cheerleaders sleeping on the Tiger Walk grass, like you saw. It was a huge deal.
And then not only that, after they like walked past us, we actually had an active hump day right after it. So it was like, they were at like the top of the stairs. And I understand COVID and everything that we're going through right now with health, but like they were at the top of the stairs and all the students were downstairs. I know Big Frida probably wanted to be out there with us. She started twerking and everything, but like, it was like definitely like, this is what you should get, because this is what we get on a daily basis. Right, like, you might not like the person you're standing next to, but we're going to turn up because we're at hump day. Like, it's just like, that's what HBCU culture is about. Like, putting aside our differences, but realizing everything that we have together that's similar. So
that like y'all hit the nail right on the head, man. Like, and it's 3 episodes coming up. You have episode 6, episode 7, episode 8. And I worked in advertising once I graduated from Fort Valley. Started August 2020. I left April 2021, and that was my first job out of college. So in that position, I was working at the radio station. I learned a lot about media advertising, and even local and national. And one thing about BET, and I think it's an amazing strategy, is they're going to show College Hill on television again. They showed it after the BET Awards. It got 854,000 viewers after the BET Awards. They're going to show it again in the following months. They might show it during homecoming or something along those lines. Right. So you see, like, it's about 40 to 45 minutes each episode. They're going to add about 15 to 20 minutes of commercials. So you see that even though they're running the segments concurrently, you can see when Ray J, for example, when Ray J walked out of Dr. Cooley's class the first episode, during the BET Awards, that was a commercial. So that you see like certain things where it's going to be like, hey, like Dream Doll and Nene get into it, commercial for Colgate, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, we know that's going to happen. like, I just think that within the production, I think that like there's room for scenes such as you all interfacing with Slim Thug. There are scenes that can be put in such as you all swearing him in and you speaking on that issue. Like, I think that if you're going to be at an HBCU, and especially bringing up the brilliant points you all brought up, you have to showcase that on-campus experience of the organizations and what those organizations do. I'm not saying do an infomercial, because Texas Southern can get a commercial like during the first commercial break, which that should be something that should be talked about. Like when Ray J walk out of Dr. Cooley's class, Texas Southern University is the second largest HBCU. Like, that needs to be a commercial right after that. But I mean, like, I understand the drama and the salaciousness, but they gotta understand, and with all of us going to HBCUs, like, y'all know there's a lot of drama on an HBCU campus that can be on film and on TV.
And I'm so glad that I'm so glad that they did get some stuff.
Some of the stuff we got.
There was some stuff. Can I say this? There was some things. There was some stuff that we don't want them to see. I'm gonna be real with you, right? Some stuff that they cut out of some of them centimeters, I'm like, cool. Keep that out, because they would look horrible
on our university.
Really bad.
Right.
And it'll be a good clip. Like, they'll probably milk that. They'll milk that. But the good stuff, I really hope that even if they maybe come out with like a deluxe edition or something, I don't know, maybe put it on something else, right? And they have deleted scenes or something. Hopefully with that, they can showcase those other things that we didn't really get to see.
So I want to talk about this because I think that this is an important conversation of the impact of a show such as College Hill on the campus of an institution such as Texas Southern University. Because, just talking to the original members of College Hill and just hearing how it was back then. And mind you, back then it was MySpace. It wasn't really no social media for real. And I heard a twofold thing. One thing I heard about the impact of, that the school being on there was that it was a good light on it. But on those cast members, like, they didn't get the opportunities that someone that was on in this generation would. Like, if you're on College Hill, like Brianna's living it up. She was prominently featured. She was prominently featured as the captain of Tiger Sensations, and a lot of people are coming up to her. She's getting a lot of opportunities. But back in the day, Langston and Southern didn't have that because there was no social media. So I think that it's a lot of different impacts on, just life at a university such as Texas Southern. So I want to touch on it from a twofold perspective, and I want to start with you, Dexter. So what do you think the impact was of College Hill being on campus socially? Like, how was it on campus? Were people stepping out? Were they dressing? They were dribbling a little bit more because they might have been caught on camera, with a Greek stroll? Because you and Alpha Man, were y'all strolling a little bit more? Like, y'all catch this? Like, what was it like on campus as they were filming?
Honestly, so you have to think about it. Before this, we were coming out of COVID. So we were still students were still coming out slowly but surely. But when they heard about this, this is the biggest hump day we had in a year, I believe. This was a huge thing. And on HBCU campuses, students are going to step in the heat. In the heat, they were stepping. So you saw the social impact. And even after that, the events to come after they had already left, right? You saw the morale pick up. Even for our university as a whole, you talked about the viewings. Our website, we had 100% increase of how many people clicked on our website to see what TSU was. 100% increase. So you see the benefits of our name being put out there. And like you said with Brianna, you see people reaching out to her. I even had somebody reach out to me for an opportunity that I'll be doing soon through LinkedIn. And you just made the connection for me because I had been trying to figure out how they knew who I was. How did you even find me? But because we were featured, and even with just little names being put out there, or me saying my name here, or somebody's face being there, they were able to put those faces to names and really reach out to students. And we are able to not only reap the benefits with our university and social-wise, but this also helps us as well because it built, that professionalism behind the scenes as well. So it was a good overall 10 out of 10 for the increase in social life because students were stepping after that. We even got a TikTok that went viral. A couple of weeks after that, yeah, and everybody was the TikTok of that hump day went viral, and then a couple of weeks later, we did another TikTok with I guess like best drip or something like that went viral because you were beginning to see, okay, TSU coming back, something's happening over there, what's going on, and it was really I'll give credit to that moment because it pushed us back outside.
I love it, and I want to just say this too. I know that when it comes to HBCUs, because I know back in my day, I'm not like this anymore because I am for all HBCUs and I can't even play like that no more. But back in my day, boy, I was real bad with the rivalry, man. I used to go crazy because I rival at Fort Valley is Albany State, and I used to be going crazy. But I love Albany. There's no smoke now. But like I used to be going crazy. So if someone came at me, like if it was like, I know y'all rivals Prairie View, if someone came at me talking was like, I thought someone in school that wasn't on BET said something. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
We got a rival with, and I'm going to put this out there, we got a rival with Tennessee State too.
Yeah.
They want to be the real TSU. And I'm going to just put that out there. I'm going to drop some research for you, Randall, so you can share with the Tennessee Tigers of who actually was TSU first. So we were TSU first, 1951 was when we established TSU. 1968 was when Tennessee State dropped their industrial, whatever it was, and became TSU. So who was first? I'm going to just say that.
Drop press.
We're going to keep going. I hope you put that out there so they can see that.
Oh, all of this will be on the interview. I'm just going to say that y'all gave us some. Oh my God, we dropped this. Listen, Tennessee, I love Tennessee. I love Texas Southern. Just know, I'm not in this. This is awful fun.
Yeah, we're not in it, but I put it out there.
No, because they're gonna be like, see, you see what HC supposed to do, and they're tearing down HC. No, we're not. Okay, listen, don't do that.
No, here's not. This is our fun and games, though. We love them. Yeah. They came to our campus. I'll add that out there. They came to our campus. We did a joint thing with their student leaders and our student leaders. And we shared a lot of things. Like Tennessee State, we love them. And I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying it to cover up what I said because it's still true. We the real TSU. I'm gonna let that be known. However, they did come to our campus and we showed them love. They showed us love. It's all love, at the end of the day. But we still the real TSU.
Hey, listen. HBCU rivalries are so key. And we gonna key in on it because they be talking about Georgia, Alabama. They be talking about all these other different rivalries. Y'all got to get into these HBCU rivalries, man. It goes crazy, especially on Twitter. Yeah. Oh my God! But Alexis, so I want to pose the same question to you. So about the impact. So you guys talked about how campus life picked up, and Texas Southern just was on 10. Going into the end of the semester. So just from your vantage point, like what was the impact of BET being on Texas Southern's campus to film College Hill on the social experience?
I can't say the same thing that Dexter said. We definitely had like a drip storm. Like everybody, whenever you came to school, you didn't come to school looking a mess. Like you definitely put it on for BET. But not only that, it was kind of like a scavenger hunt for some people as well. I know a lot of people on their way to class was like, oh, y'all, guess who I ran into? One of my good friends, he ran into Ray J, and it was a big thing. But, like, it was a scavenger hunt. I think people were eager to come back to school. And I think that's the best thing we could take out of it was after COVID, it's hard to transform yourself back into a full-time on-campus student. Like, waking up in the morning, getting dressed for real, going to class, sitting in those classes. I think it kind of made people want to come to school because I just might be on TV was probably their thought in the morning. But I definitely can't say it was definitely like a blessing for our culture and bringing it back because, like you say, nobody else can say that they've been back on College Hill. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a strong point for that. And then I technically use it like every day. Like Megan Thee Stallion graduated from our school. Democratic Party was at our school. College Hill was at our school. So anytime anybody has anything to say about Texas Southern, I'm like, well, did your school do this? Okay, right. We won't talk about it then. Mm-hmm. But if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it for real. Yeah, but it definitely helps our culture.
And I gotta say this too. And my brother gonna watch this. He's gonna be like, "That's right, Randall. You got to ride for Bianca Belair too, man." At WrestleMania moment, because that was a moment. Because that was
Yes.
Texas Southern worldwide, and then that is representation. Because and I interviewed you all's band director, and I told him about that. Like that's representation in an industry where you've had black wrestlers, but Bianca Belair is truly, a black woman in her character, and also the way that she moves, and she's representing so well. And she won that night. She at the pinnacle of history in wrestling with that. And Texas Southern is now a part of that history. So that's even big on an international front. So it's so many amazing things that Texas Southern is doing. And my brother's gonna be like, "That's right, Randall. You better bring up Bianca Belair." I did. Okay.
Yeah, really bring up those things, because not only College Hill, but TSU, we have a partnership with Southwest. We have interns with Southwest now in a partnership with our pilot program. We have a partnership with the Astros now, our baseball team. We have students interning there. We have a partnership with NASA. Like TSU, really, like we're on the map in many ways, and you may not see it actively, like you'll see the College Hill, but we're on the map, and that's one of the things like we talked about before. Like TSU, when you come here to Texas Southern University, you'll get an immense amount of experience from everywhere, not just the culture, but also developing you to be the best version of yourself.
Man, most definitely. And, this was an amazing conversation, and it was really a conversation because you all brought things to light that I didn't think about. And now I'm excited, for our interview, but now I'm upset because I would have loved, as a former SGA member, to have seen Slim Thug be an SGA. Like, what? Like, I'm upset now. I'm like, what the world, BET? Like, come on, BET. Come on. BET, we appreciate y'all, but y'all got to show the college experience, because that would have been amazing. Because imagine SGA getting that light that, truth be told, it never got. Because the only time that we saw something sort of equivalent was in Different World, and that's back in like the 90s. Like Drumline didn't have SGA. The Quad had an SGA moment, but no SGA president or vice president.
Yeah, we saw it in School Days just a little bit.
Yes, but School Days was more so about Greek life. You know what I'm saying? More than anything. So it's like we didn't even see that. There was no, hey, this is the SGA president. This is the vice. It wasn't any of that, and that is essential to what the university experience is. And there are what we call PBIs, predominantly black institutions that are not historically black, that have a Mr. and a Miss. I've noticed that, and that's big in Georgia. And we're not dissing them for that. That's cool with what they're doing. Right. But that's a concept that originated at HBCUs. So that's something that I think should be showcased. But that's a whole other conversation that can be had. And I wish we could have it, but y'all busy, man. Man, Dexter up there on the Capitol Hill. So listen, he has legislation to write. He has to save our rights. All right, so I don't want to take up too much of this time. But thank y'all so much for coming on. And before we go, I want you all to tell me, number one, what you all have coming up. You told us at the beginning of the interview, but I want you to tell us what you all have coming up, and also how we can find you on social media, and Texas Southern's SGA on social media. Starting with you, Dexter.
So I'll start with my social media. You can find me on all my platforms, Instagram, Twitter. I don't have Snapchat, I don't do that, but Instagram and Twitter at Dex Maryland, DexMaryland, like the state. LinkedIn, Dexter Maryland, and some of the big things we have coming up, you will see. So you will see us on Moving Day with somebody really special. I'm not gonna say no name.
Yeah, to Texas.
But in Texas, you'll see us with somebody that's very prominent in Texas right now, doing some voter registration and moving in students. So we're doing that. Glad he talked about seeing SGA in the light. Even my VP doesn't even know about this, but I'm letting it out the cat out the bag. I'm doing a documentary this year of our entire year. I'm paying somebody to do a documentary of our year. So we will be putting that out. We're having TED Talk. We're doing the 1,000 internships. We're going to have a concert if we get there. We got the funding for it, so y'all going to see us lit. We're doing some things around our campus to include some professionalism in our curriculum. We got a lot going on. It's 10 things. I'll shoot Randall some things in the DM. Hopefully he can promote it on the story or something, but that's what we have coming up. And I'll let Alexis. I just dropped 2 big things. We got some for Move-In Day. Y'all be on the lookout because it's going to be big. Y'all going to be like, hold on. And then we're going to do a documentary too. So that I'll just give y'all that for now.
All right, Alexis.
Okay, so I'm really just using Instagram these days, but my Instagram is L3XISDESIREE. That is my name, like my yeah, whatever. But
It's too much. We need to do something simple
We'll
we
put
can-
that on the screen. So for the audience, listen, for the audience that is listening on radio or through podcasts. For the audience that listens through radio and through podcasts, we'll put that on the screen and y'all be able to see it, because that's a lot. But still, but I'll also but what do you have coming up? You have anything coming up for your vice president tenure?
No, I was just talking to Dexter. We live in Texas. It's like 115 degrees, feels like outside. So, due to COVID, our school has lacked water sources like around campus because of COVID or whatever, and the sanitation and stuff like that. So one thing I wanted to implement, and shout out to Janathan, he's working with me, but he gave us the idea of putting around campus like water stations from SGA to give to students to make sure that we're hydrated, we're staying healthy, and making sure that we're able to matriculate throughout the school year. That's one thing. We have our app coming, Move In, just a whole bunch of stuff. We actually just talked to someone about getting us maybe an ID card with the debit card attached to it at our school. So, we're giving the students bank accounts. We're doing it all. So definitely looking forward to like a good year, but we want to thank you for having us, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to not only express our platform, but to give insight on College Hill. So thank you.
Yeah, most definitely. I love what you all are doing. Like, this is really important. And one thing, as a former member of SGA, is that I understand that SGA itself needs more promotion. So we're always here for that and the amazing things that SGA student leaders are doing. But thank you all for coming on, and you're listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.